It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
It is cold in my basement this early morning. If you're watching the video, I'm in my Carhartt jacket. It's cold. I've got to head out to work here in just a little bit, but trying to get an early recording in before I take on the day. Ready for the day in terms of wearing a polo shirt and the company jacket. Mentally, tired, but it's early. A lot of time to change things. Thanks for checking out the podcast today. I appreciate it. I want to talk about baseball. Baseball has been very, very good to me. I want to talk about baseball. I have, I think, some quick thoughts on something I'm going to be keeping my eye on the intranet, the internet, something I think could be cool. We'll see if it is or isn't at the end of the month. And maybe some game talk. We'll maybe get into that. But I wanted to give a shout out to something in my house that is like the Olympics, and that is baked potatoes. Baked potatoes are the Olympics of the Widmer household, in that every 2 years they make a resurgence, and they're back every 2 years. And it always is at a different time of year. It will be in the fall, and then 2 years later, they'll make a resurgence in the spring, and then 2 years later, they'll make a resurgence in the fall. There are summer and winter Olympics. Every 2 years, baked potatoes rear their head in our house, and we are in it right now, and I could not be happier. They go by the wayside. We get into a baked potato kick here at the house and live in it for 2 or 3 weeks like the Olympics, and every time a baked potato comes out of the oven, I'm thankful. I'm grateful. I'm excited. Dinner's wonderful. And I tell myself, we're going to do this all the time. And then all of a sudden, in about 3 weeks, we're going to be potatoed out and they're going to go away. And we're going to have overdone it. But then in 2 years, Anna's going to be at the store. I'm going to be at the store. We're going to see potatoes, and one of us is going to think, wow, it would be great. A baked potato sounds great. And we're going to run it back. So we love them. And I don't know where you are in the baked potato world, but you need to be there with us. You need to join us. I will say, if you're going to do it right, you've got to go all in on it. So I think the mandatory for me to make it feel special for a baked potato is you have to have enough toppings to make it count, to take it beyond something that you would get as a side and turn it into a meal. So for me, I got to have butter. I need to have, to make it a meal, some kind of canned chili. Pretty much the healthiest stuff you can find. A canned chili, then cheddar cheese, sour cream, some chives. You're living. And then everything else, if you can find other things, that's just, that's the cherry on the top. I don't recommend cherries on your baked potato, but I do recommend having some other stuff that maybe you put in here or there, bacon bits kind of thing. I like avocado on mine. Thanks, an avocado, thanks. I'll throw hot sauce on it from time to time. A salt and pepper, obviously. But we are in the midst of it. We had them last night. My wife said, do you want to do dinner late? We'll get the kids to bed. Everyone will be sleeping. Bust out the baked potatoes. Load them up. Watch some NCAA basketball. Watch some March Madness and Traitors, the TV show. We're working through season 2. And I was like, yeah, this is going to be great. And it was magical and it was wonderful. The basketball wasn't as great in the late night, but the early March Madness games last night, I'm recording this early Friday morning, the games on Thursday night, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. We had the upset. Iowa took down Nebraska. Nebraska tried to play defense with 4 guys in one of the wildest situations. Nebraska has never won an NCAA tournament game in their existence. They not only win, they win 2 games, get to the Sweet 16, playing against Iowa, a 9 seed, who is good, and they have an opportunity late to keep this game close. And what do? They play defense with 4 players, get burned on a full court pass, Iowa scores. I think it put them up by 5 or 6, and that was it. That was it. So that was a bummer. The Purdue-Texas game was insane. That was a wildly good basketball game. I found myself cheering for Texas. I'm of the opinion you can't name me a major school that's more boring than Purdue. All time. This is not just about the 2026 Purdue Boilermakers. This is an all-time opinion. So you have to take in everything you've got. Because you may be saying, Sean, School X is so boring right now. But then 10 years ago, they might have been flashy and cool and fun. Purdue has been boring and dull forever. Forever. Your most fun, exciting player is Drew Brees, who is the most boring. And the only Drew Brees thing that I remember is when Oprah tried to wipe his birthmark off his face, thinking it was lipstick. That's it. That's the pinnacle of excitement in Purdue sports. Is Big Baby Davis? Who is there? Is Big Baby Davis? Who's the famous Purdue basketball player? I think it's Big Baby Davis. Famous Purdue basketball players. Okay, let's see who we got here. Zach Edey, that's great. Yeah, Glenn Robinson. Why do I want to say Glenn Davis? Glenn Robinson, big dog. Glenn Robinson. It's not who you want to have as your all-time most exciting basketball player. He was a number one overall draft pick. Glenn Robinson was, but they're just boring. Anyways, Purdue ended up beating Texas. That was a bit of a bummer. I think that's going to set up a really fun one tomorrow. Arizona-Purdue should be good. Arizona's unreal. Illinois looked good. They knocked off Houston. Illinois-Iowa could be, it's hilarious. Those two schools getting a chance to go at it. Just Midwest basketball. Okay, that's sports. There's more sports coming. But I got to watch some March Madness last night. I'm excited for tonight's games. I feel like Duke had a rough first weekend where it felt like they could lose at any moment. I bet you they throttle St. John's tonight because there's this feeling that maybe it's going to be close because of how Duke played last week. St. John's has Rick Pitino. They've got a good team. This one has all the makings to me of Duke by 14. All the makings of that. I think Alabama's going to get crushed by Michigan. Michigan State, UConn, I do not know enough about either team. And then Tennessee, Iowa State, I don't know anything besides that I've read that Iowa State's good. So hopefully we get some good basketball tonight. Do I want to talk? Do I just transition into it? I think we do. Let's talk baseball real quick. Opening day happened, and I was excited because the Mariners, everyone's hyped on the Mariners, and I've been trying to temper my frustration where everyone's excited about them, and I just assume they're going to win 74 games this year and be bad. That's just my assumption. I think Cal Raleigh, I've said this all offseason because people are excited. I want to love Cal Raleigh because he had all the homers. I fully expect him to hit like 220 with 30 homers this year. It's just what I expect. I expect all the pitchers to know what to do now and not pitch him the balls that he hits 40 million yards. So I don't know. I'm trying to be excited. And what do you know? Last night they have opening day, and the new guy, Brendan Donovan, hits a home run right off the bat. And I thought, here we go. I'm going to eat crow. And then Julio Rodriguez strikes out 3 times, and Cal Raleigh strikes out 3 times. And the Mariners lose. And they lose 6-4, and they're at home, and it's just sad. And I was bummed. Now, we only have 161 more games. So there is time for them to right the ship. It is not the ship is sinking situation yet. 161 games left. So a little bit of time to correct their course. We'll see. If they lose tonight, it might be over. If they lose tonight against the Guardians, that's it. 2 in a row. You lose 2 in a row in a 162 game season. That's rough. So baseball's begun, and we will be talking about it for the next most of our lives because that is when it will be World Series time by then. I'm bummed, though. I just want him to be good. I just wanted to be good so bad, but I think last year was so exciting, and then everyone gets excited, and Brendan Donovan's good, and he realizes about 2 months from now, what is this place? This place is cursed. This place, I don't know if you guys know this here in the Pacific Northwest. It's cursed here. was anyone going to tell me that? And they're like, but last year, and he's going to say, yeah, apparently something happened where last year the people running the curse wanted to give enough hope to Mariners fans to get them back in. And now they've earned, 20 more years of the curse, and people will be like, yeah, but remember 2025? Remember that? It could happen again. This can't happen again. We're just... I'm excited to watch more of Mariners, though. I love watching them. It's a rough start to have baseball start during March Madness because it was really, again, 162 game season. It was hard to justify watching one of 162 when the NCAA tournament is going on. That was tough. All right, let's wrap it up with this. This is my Kelly's What Are You Into today?
Kelly's What Are You Into?
I do need to give a shout out to one of my coworkers, Michael, who is a machine and made it so my day is probably going to be easier today. We put up a video wall at Keeneland, the horse racing track here in Lexington. Put up a big video wall yesterday. I don't know that in my years of working and doing things that were required someone to be impressive. That not my jobs have been very different. So if I'm just going like someone impressed me with something, I've seen some impressive stuff working in radio, and my guy builds a video wall with us yesterday and with his eyes closed. But at one point, this is just to explain the guys I work with. At one point, there's a moment where we do not have the right power converter for something. It's all going above my head. We're talking about different power, watts, the power cords we're using are as thick as a Snickers bar, thicker than a Snicker. And it's crazy. And it's like, we don't have the converter. Does anyone want to drive back 40 minutes to the warehouse to get one? And it's going to put us way behind. And I look over, he's just dismantled the power cord and is rebuilding it. And I'm like, that's different. That's different. So shout out to him. Okay. Real quick, let me respond to this text. Okay. Sorry, work stuff. We got an early meet. I'm meeting the guy early today. So that's just way too early for him to be awake. Okay. What am I into? I love trivia shows. For those of you who are on Patreon, Trivia 21 is coming back starting next week. Season 2 coming back starting next week. I'm excited to get back into it. I love trivia. I love playing trivia. I love watching trivia. I've got to get back to making trivia and putting it out there because I think it's so much fun. So it's coming back. I'm excited for it. And so in my love of watching trivia, I was excited that Jeopardy, which is, the king of trivia, and I'm a Jackbox person, I'm a Trivial Pursuit person, so I can fight for the things that I love, but I'm dumb if I don't just know Jeopardy is the king and queen and ruler of the trivia world. And they do a lot of cool stuff with Jeopardy. Of course, they have Jeopardy on TV. They've done I think that says it in the article. Let me see if I can pull up the article here. No thanks. Can I just read the article? Is this going to be a website that I can read the article, or do I need to subscribe? What is going on here? What is this website that won't let me do anything? All right, here we go. Let's go to a different one. There we go. Yahoo has it. Here we go. Here we go. But this isn't good either. This is a video. What happened? Why can I read no articles anymore on the internet? Everything is hidden behind 50 billion paywalls. Okay, here we go. On March 31st, I was mentioning Celebrity Jeopardy is something they've done. I believe they did like a sports Jeopardy thing for a second. And now they're coming in on March 31st, March 31st, 9 p.m. I believe it is on their YouTube channel. It is Jeopardy YouTube edition. And the first episode, I don't know who Monet Exchange is of Monet Talks. I do know who Rebecca Black is. Friday, got to get down on Friday. And from Dimension 20, Critical Role, Dungeon Master Extraordinaire, someone that I love any of the content he comes out with, Brennan Lee Mulligan. Those three people, popular internet personalities, they will be there for the first episode of Jeopardy YouTube edition, with other exclusive content to follow. So here's the deal. Ken Jennings will also host the YouTube edition of Jeopardy. I'm reading this article from the AV Club. After having spent 5 years as the host of the flagship series, per THR's description, it sounds like the show will be largely similar to the original Jeopardy, or at least Celebrity Jeopardy, with questions more directly relevant to its participants. They will reportedly be categories based on pop and internet culture, and feature decent amount of video clues, often delivered by other YouTubers. It's not immediately clear whether or when or even if more episodes of the show will air, but the goal is to meet some of the younger demographic where they're actually at and hopefully get them invested in the series. Anything even resembling educational content that can be added to YouTube is probably a net good for society too. That's some commentary from the AV Club. I'm all in on this. Now, I don't know, as it says, it kind of sounds like it there. They're debuting this first episode. I don't know if it's a series or just a one-off. They're going to see what it looks like and then proceed. I love this stuff. More Jeopardy stuff that is in a specific niche, I love. And why not throw it up on YouTube? This is going to work out well for me as a YouTube lover to have trivia about YouTube and the entertainment world. I get maybe 2 questions right a night on Real Jeopardy, and I feel so good. I'm probably going to get about 60% of the questions right on YouTube Jeopardy. That's going to make me feel real smart. Really, really smart. It's just like when Sports Jeopardy happens and it's like, oh, finally, a whole freaking 2 boards of sports questions. I'm here for it. So I'm excited about that. March 31st, I'm having a hard time talking. March 31st, 9 p.m., Jeopardy YouTube. And I believe that will be found on their YouTube channel. So there you go. I'm excited about it. Thanks for checking out the podcast today. Hope your week went well and that your weekend is looking great. We have family pictures on Sunday. That should probably be just super easy and not stressful and easy to wrangle the kids. That's probably going to be the easiest part of my weekend. Family pictures. Can't wait. All right. Thanks for checking out the podcast. I appreciate it.